the basics of Soca with Dobbin Dap Cloud. Hey everyone, alright, so this is Dobbin once again, and this video is going to be about the rhythm of Soca. Rhythm, of course, relates to percussion, and we have some very special percussion instruments in Soca. I don't have all of them with me, but I'm going to use what I have. You will find these instruments when you go to a steel pan yard, a house party maybe, sometimes in a fete, depending on what kind of fete, and if it's older people there or people who are very into the culture. And the first one we're going to start out with is, oh, by the way, these instruments when put together for percussion are called the engine room. I really hope I spelled percussion correctly. Alright? That's the engine room. Alright. So first, we're going to start out with the tock-tock. Tock-tock. Now the tock-tock can be used, the tock-tock is the metronome of the engine room, alright? It keeps the one timing, or the 1-2 timing. Some people like to switch it up. But we usually use for a tock-tock a cowbell. See that? And something to hit it with. I use my pan stick because I don't want to make too much noise right now. And I remember I asked my uncle when I was younger, well, what exactly is a tock-tock? Is it the cowbell itself? He said, well, yes, that's what we use, but it could be, anything could be a tock-tock, as long as it can keep that timing. Or, alright? In another video, I'll show you how this goes all with the music. Alright? But not this one. I have my reasons. So that's a tock-tock. Alright? Keep that in your mind. Once you can find that rhythm, or that beat, you can dance to any soca song. Well, you can move to any soca song. I won't call it dancing. Alright, next we have what we call a shack, or some might spell it chak. It is an African derived instrument that was taken up by the Africans as they went into the diaspora during colonization. And the shack is the Caribbean or West Indian, as they call it, version of the Latino or Latina maraca or maracas. It is made with the gourd. It's a very interesting way it's made. I'm not going to go into that right now. But you will hear this and you will see this in many engine rooms. Wait, that was a bad play. See, I had no beat. That's right. This is very big for when there's a parang fete. Yes, that's a shack. we have one of my favorites because it's so simple and that even kids can play it if they do it right. This wonderful instrument actually predates steel pan, and it is none other than the bottle and spoon. The bottle and spoon. Alright? Now, this is like the soloist of the engine room. And it can be played many different ways. You tap the spoon with the bottle. See my little nephew, he's in the camera now because he wanted to be down. So that's one way you play your bottle and your spoon, or your bottle and spoon as we pronounce it. Alright, that's all. Alright, another way to use a bottle and spoon, which I learned when I went to Trinidad a few years ago by one of my cousins, is to actually put the spoon inside the bottle and play it. And I know there is an equivalent to this down south when they play certain kinds of music as well. So those are your three rhythm instruments that you may find in a percussion in engine room. What I'm missing right now is what we call a scratcher, which is a grater, like a long grater, with an Afro pick, played with an Afro pick, which the shack is the equivalent of. In the Latino community, they call it a guiro. That's the scratcher. What else? Tambourine. You might have a tambourine in an engine room. And you'll have iron. Now, iron is one of the most important because that predates the steel band. Before there were notes, there was iron. Tire iron, the iron, the elbow for the pipe. All of these are played as part of the percussion. If you're into soca, get your ears tuned for this, because if you're not tuned for it, or used to it, I should say, you'll consider it as noise. But when you learn that this is what goes into the percussion, the rhythm of soca, then you'll start to love it. And it'll make you... Alright? So, that was just a little something on the engine room, or the percussion, the rhythm of soca. Thank you. See you in my next vid. Hey, leave those alone, boy. You could beat this. Can you beat this? Nah, just one hit. Hold it here. That deadens the sound, and then you hit right. There you go. And now you hit as hard as you want. Don't move. Don't move. You ain't ready for that yet. Right? Keep that beat. Bump, 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 bump. Don't speed it up.